Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
It's difficult to keep up with the pontifications of nature enthusiast Chris Packham these days. He seems to find everything annoying. In a recent rant, he had a go at Taylor Swift, saying that instead of using private jets on her tour, she should fly commercially. What this proves is that Mr. Packham simply doesn't understand the real world. Ms. Swift's tour is enormous. One day she was in Zurich, then she'd be off to Stockholm and London and Dublin and Paris, and I'm sorry, but as anyone who's used an aeroplane in the last few years knows, this sort of schedule would have been impossible if she'd used BA or Ryanair or whatever. She would either have been late for every gig, or not there at all, or in Copenhagen when she was supposed to be in Vancouver. But there's more to it than that. And this is something else Mr. Packham can't grasp. Taylor Swift is so famous that going through an ordinary airport to catch an ordinary plane would be impossible. If she stopped for every selfie hunter, she'd miss the plane. And if she didn't, she'd be torn to shreds on social media for being rude and la-di-da. So what Mr. Packham is doing by kind of ordering her to fly with the masses is tantamount to bullying. Because she can't. Packham is reasonably well known among the nation's ramblers and bingo enthusiasts, but he has no knowledge of what it's like to be properly famous. So famous that you are physically mobbed by a braying horde wherever you are in the world. Remote villages in Africa. In the malls of the Middle East. On the streets of Rome. There is no escape, ever. Fame has its advantages, of course. Money and great restaurant tables. But when you're properly famous, it's a prison. A luxury prison for sure, but a prison nonetheless. Look at Lewis Hamilton. When I first met him, shortly after the Battle of Trafalgar I think, he was a great kid. Wide-eyed, polite and not afraid to wear his heart on his sleeve. I thought he was fab, but then he got famous. Really famous. Not Packham famous. Clooney famous. So now, he arrives at the racetrack every other weekend on a scooter so no one can stop him. And he's wearing earbuds so he can pretend he can't hear the fans' demands for a selfie. He's even imprisoned when he's in front of camera, having to make sure that he always seems reasonable and woke and grateful as he lives in the sustainable moment while supporting trans rights for hard-working families in the community. Further down the fame ladder, you've got Max Verstappen, who's not in the same prison yet. So he F's and blinds and refuses to apologize afterwards. I met him for the first time recently and couldn't believe what a straightforward, normal guy he is. But it won't last. Soon, he'll tire of the abuse he gets from the fans for effing, blinding and refusing to say sorry. And shortly after that he'll realize it's easier when you are in fame prison to ride a scooter and wear earbuds. He'll realize that, like Lewis and Taylor have, the only way to keep the fans happy is to avoid them. I can't imagine that Chris Packham will ever become a Formula One world champion, but I know he likes music, so I hope one day he releases an album that propels him to global superstardom. I hope he gets all the riches of Araby and fawning adulation wherever he goes. Because then we'd see how long it'd take him to ask his agent to book a G5. I was disappointed to find out from the boss of the American Secret Service this week that the movie, In the Line of Fire, isn't entirely accurate. In the real world, Clint Eastwood would have dived to the floor and taken the president's shoes off. And Rene Russo would have been a librarian lookalike who couldn't get a gun in her holster. And meanwhile, their boss would have insisted that they got John Malkovich's pronouns right before shooting back. It seems that some ramblers are saying I've deliberately placed beehives near a public footpath on my farm to stop people using it. Horse S***T. I have beehives all over the farm, placed not to deter liberal Democrats but because the plants growing nearby are suitable. Could people be stung? Yup, probably, if they mess about. Do I care? Not especially. What they haven't realized is that next to another footpath about a mile away, I have a sodding great bull called Endgame. And if you annoy him, he won't sting you. He will turn you into